But then that's why, Howard,
It is 6 o'clock on Tuesday, August the 9th, 2022, and I'd like to call this meeting of the Montgomery City Council to order. We'd like to thank everyone for being with us physically and those tuning in. We appreciate your interest in our city. At this time, first I'd like to remind everybody to silence their phones, and so make sure I'm sorry, Carol, I just had to do that. And so with that, we will stand, please. Heavenly Father, we thank you so much for the many blessings we're able to see day by day if we just humble ourselves before you. We recognize going into this school year is always a time of anxiousness for a lot of folks. But let your peace come upon all of us, and most of all, your protection for those that want to do harm in any way, shape, or form in our community. We ask that you would put those forces down. Protect all involved in our school process, from the parents to the bus drivers, the teachers, the staff. We ask you to divinely protect them and ease our fears. You are not the God of fears, but you are the God of wonders and miracles. And may we count it a pure joy to work with the young folks today. And we're certainly grateful to give honor to these who have excelled in what they've done. Bless our meeting tonight. May we be wise in all decisions that we make. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen. Salute to the American flag.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
To the Texas flag.
On the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
As a long-time coach, I know how hard it is to make it even to the state championship. Even to buy a ticket can be quite pricey. But to be honored enough to get to that level and win it, and oh yeah, be undefeated, yeah, that's quite an accomplishment. You will remember that forever. And the way I understand it, sportsmanship and leadership and everything else, of course, it starts at the top, and it starts with the parents who raised it, right? And so we just want to make a little proclamation to the Lake Creek Lions. We used to call them Lake Lions. We don't do that anymore. Anyway, high school varsity girls softball team, 2022 UIL 5A state champions, August 9th, 2022. Whereas the hard work, dedication, sportsmanship, talent, and exceptional team chemistry of the 21-22 Lake Creek High School softball team has enabled these student athletes to earn a state championship title. And whereas winning the 22 Class 5A state Texas UIL state championship brought honor to Lake Creek High School and the city of Montgomery, Texas, on the local, state, and national level. And whereas head coach Michelle Wyszynski, got that right, and the entire coaching staff, team members, parents, faculty, and student body of Lake Creek High School were integral in guiding the team to victory through their unwavering support. Now, therefore, I, Byron Sanford, Mayor of the City of Montgomery, do hereby recognize and heartily congratulate Lake Creek High School and the 2022 State Championship softball team on its outstanding accomplishment. In witness thereof, I, Byron Sanford, have hereunto set my hand and cause to be affixed the great seal of the City of Montgomery, Texas, on this 9th day of August 2022. Congratulations.
We'll be right. Totally individual. Yes. Maybe not. Remember you and you was that age too, Jay? Remember when you were that age?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I was a real small cat. You was a really small cat. Y'all were our arch rivals. You remember Jimmy? Ours is heading them out. Congratulations, you guys. Yes, I heard those days.
Come back, come back.
It's a mouthful of legal language.
I know.
It's a big team.
It's over baseball. They were
See,
softball.
a hospital is so small for me. There were 32 people in my graduating class. James Langley and same high school.
Two of those seniors, and then there were two volleyball. She's been almost the whole team.
Oh, wait, that's good.
At 73, I already had 2 years.
Oh, goodness.
At 75, I had.
Excuse me.
That's actually when we moved to.
All right, in the Visitors Citizens Forum, we have one person signed, Mr. Bill Clevenger. If you'll go to the podium at this time, please, state your name and address, and you'll have 3 minutes.
Good evening, council members, mayor, everyone. I hope everyone's bearing through the heat, drought our community is experiencing. As everyone knows, I do a lot of traveling for business, and 99% of that's driving. Up in the Northeast, it's kind of gotten monotonous on the routes that I take, so I've been doing side roads to try to break up the interstate. And I've noticed a lot of small towns, Virginia, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, some other ones, but I haven't noticed any in Texas yet, and this is what I want to bring to you all this evening. I'd really like to see Montgomery be one of the first, if not the first. But anyway, what I'm going to do, I'm going to walk up and show you here real quick of what I'm talking about, so as I read this, you'll know exactly. And I apologize, but I was going to get big banners, but I wanted to make sure you all enjoy it. But anyway, these banners honor our local hometown heroes that are veterans. And the families get the opportunity, local businesses get the opportunity to honor the veterans throughout. And these are hung on the light poles through the town.
Okay, and can it be for any theater, any World War I, World War II?
Everyone, all of them.
Is it always a veteran or is it a,
It's what I've noticed.
or continuing military?
I've noticed it's all been veterans, and they've been from, I've seen World War I, I've seen the Korean War, Vietnam,
High school
Iraq,
doing graduation,
Storm.
parents that they do about graduation pictures and all that.
That's true.
So I'll get back to my notes here real quick. So, you know, what a tribute it is to see when passing through these little towns. It just doesn't honor our local veterans, it honors the families that they left behind. It brings a sense of community to the towns. The banners add a sense of pride and honor to the streets. They provide talking points for people as they stroll the city streets and stuff like that. People get to, you know, I'm stopping on these little towns. I mean, I'll show you another picture here in a little bit, but There's one town, it's out in the middle of nowhere, it's called Wells Tannery, Pennsylvania. You can't even find it on a map. And it's a country road, but you can see these banners all the way down. And there's a lot of people that take pride. I've witnessed one little town in Virginia that had them. There was a family right around the pole, and they were getting their picture. The guy, it was actually at a stop sign. I rolled down the window, and they said it was his birthday, and the family came from 4 different states to honor him. So anyway, they provide talking points as people stroll and learn.
You can finish.
Okay, thank you. As people get to learn and are able, streets to learn more about the people that have actually called Montgomery their home and take pride, in the city. I'm asking y'all this evening if you would want to kick this program off by allowing some locals. I've presented the idea to a couple people and they thought it was really neat. To begin putting the information together, such as identifying veterans, the families, working with local businesses. If there isn't a family anymore of a veteran, maybe a local business would like to sponsor that banner. Where am I at? Sponsor some of the honoring the banners, veterans who might not have family. Working with Entergy, since it would be their pole. Local civic groups, maybe the Lions Club, designing the artwork for the banner and ultimately determining the final cost for each banner. But as I've talked to many people that have sponsored families, they don't even look at it. It's just something they truly want to do. In the end, I believe, and I'm sure many other locals and the folks here this evening believe it's the right thing. One last thing, the program, back to the thing that I believe that Montgomery might be the first, granted I haven't hit all the towns in Texas. We can incorporate our 2 high schools' history, maybe community service, tie them into it. As I was driving over here, technology's great. Maybe we could be one of the first, put a little barcode scanner symbol on each flag. And if the people hit it with their thing, we can maybe do a bio and learn about that person. I thought that'd be really cool. Also, a great way to incorporate and invite our local historical society to be involved in the program. One of the ladies that I've worked with over the years in designing things, I asked her out of the blue, I said, have you ever designed these for what? She said, yeah, we actually did 3 towns. And so they're 30 inches wide on average and 50 inches tall with a 3-inch pole pocket at the top and the bottom. Most cities have the ability to slide the pole or the hanger poles up and down to tighten it. But in the end, that was just my idea. I wanted to present it to you all as a community, as you as a city, and to see if it was something that you might want to bring right here to the streets of Montgomery, because I know we have a lot of history. Yes, ma'am?
You were talking about the Historic Society. That would be great, too. I wonder how the chamber would work with that also, because I think it's a great idea.
Okay.
Very patriotic.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you, Bill.
Yeah, so just, I'm sure we can push it out to Dave or whoever if y'all are interested.
It's also an EDC possibility as well.
Yeah, I
Right.
get some sponsors.
So, but I'd love to, work with a group of citizens and businesses and see if we can't line our streets and honor our locals.
Thanks, sir.
Yep, hey, y'all have a wonderful evening.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, on to the consent agenda. Item 2, minutes of City Council Budget Workshop 7/19/22. Item 3, minutes of regular City Council meeting 7/26/22. What's the council's pleasure?
Make a motion to accept item 2 and 3 is on the consent agenda.
I second it.
We have a motion and a second. Motion is debatable, amendable, and requires a majority vote. All in favor of accepting the consent agenda, item 2 and 3, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. And the consent agenda is passed. Item number 4, matters related to a request to locate a HUD code manufactured home at 15329 Liberty Street, Montgomery, Texas. A is to convene into public hearing on the request, and we do that at 6:14 p.m. anyone with any comments? If not, then we reconvene at 6:14 p.m. Item B, consideration possible action on the request.
Mayor and council, you will recall having called the public hearing 2 times for us. And what the code requires is if you locate a HUD code manufactured home, which is a mobile home or a trailer house, I don't call them that anymore, it's a HUD code manufactured home. It is to locate them outside of an approved park, which we have one in the city. The matter has to come before the council, you hold your public hearing, which you just did, and again, they also have to meet the requirements that I've shown you there on the cover sheet. They comply with everything that would be required up to this point. The items that are outstanding would come here in the installation and the connection of the utilities. Ms. Sean Johnson and Nick Davis are here to, if you guys have any thoughts or questions about it, I'm sure they would be happy to answer. Or if you have any other thoughts or questions that I can answer, I'd be glad to.
Hello, Nick. How are you today? Good. Tell me what we're doing with Grandma's house.
We plan on taking it down and get rid
So
of it.
could we get him to the podium so?
Yes, please. Thank you.
So, like y'all, Sean Davis, excuse me. We plan on taking it down here in the near future. Once we get the house settled in, we get settled in and come home and stuff, so plan to take it down. Anything else you want to know about that?
Just to clarify, this was to be temporary and there's plans to build, is that correct?
Eventually, yes, sir.
Do you have a timeline?
No, I don't. I really don't have a timeline, no, sir.
Okay.
Are you setting it back past the house?
Yes, ma'am. It's a few feet past the front of the house. It's more in the middle of the hayfield property next door. So that way, we're pretty good off the road there.
There's a line of trees between,
I didn't
there's a
hear
line
you,
of
sir.
trees between 149 and
Yes.
the house, right?
Yes.
I just have a question for Dave. If you've seen his plans, do they meet the specifications that's in the ordinance?
Yes, ma'am. In terms of
Okay.
the HUD code tag, we've seen the HUD code tag, and again, the other stuff will
Okay.
be inspected, say, as, you know, when they install the plumbing line or make the water connection. Even when they set the home, part of what the permit, since it's a HUD code manufactured
Right.
home, so everything inside already meets all the building codes.
Okay.
One of the things that we'll look at is to ensure that it's tied down and anchored the way that it should be. Again, the requirements of the front porch, that's 8 by 12, and skirted around the side. Those are the
Right.
things that the building official looks at, you know,
Right.
post-installation to make sure it does comply with the ordinance.
And this is it's not the old-timey metal, it's more of a, and it's not a hardy plank. What is it actually called?
Is that vinyl or is that a siding
It's
material?
like a vinyl
It's a
siding.
vinyl.
I have the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's brand, it was manufactured for us. So it's good brand. We hadn't even seen it yet.
All I can say is welcome to the neighborhood and congratulations on your wedding.
Thank you, appreciate it. Back home.
That's true, that's true.
No big ain't to be happy to have him back over there. I can hear, but baby, just get home enough. Those of y'all that know my Miss Summers is my great aunt, and that's where we're gonna be at. And that's her old house that we're gonna get torn down. She always wanted her boys, as she called us, to come home. So my wife and I, here we are.
Okay, any other questions? Need a motion?
I make a motion to, let me see what
It's a motion of approval, right?
I make a motion to approve the Location, let me put my eyes on it.
All right, got mine on too.
Okay. Which, I will make a motion to request to locate a HUD, I don't like that word HUD, but HUD Code manufactured home at 15329 Liberty Street, Montgomery, Texas.
I'll second that motion.
I'll take the second by Carol. We have a motion and a second. The motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. All in favor of item number 4, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. And the motion carries. Congratulations.
Couldn't find it, Bob.
I know. You could highlight a recommended, that would help that. Thank you. Item number 5, consideration and possible action on electing a representative for the cities of Montgomery County to serve a 2-year term on the Montgomery County Emergency Communication District Board of Managers.
Mayor, council, you see the ballot in your packet. Again, this was what we did not nominate anyone, but you see the nominees from the other cities. And so what you're being asked to do here is to vote on one of these nominees. Certainly you aren't obliged to vote for any of them. I don't know any of them personally. I've met the city administrator for Shenandoah several times, but not enough to know her personally. But there's been several cities that have nominated her. I know that she had reached out to all the cities that asked for nomination. So I've not heard from any of the other ones. But you don't have to act on it, or
Does anybody have any information on who Kathy Ryder is?
outside of being the city administrator for the city of Shenandoah, I do not. I know that she's worked for Shenandoah for a number of years in several capacities.
I can give you a brief. I know her a little bit. She was city secretary for Shenandoah, got promoted to city administrator. She actually left at one time, and they went after her and brought her back. The public works director for Shenandoah, I had a conversation with him a couple of years ago when all that was going on. He was the interim city administrator at the time, and he was even trying to get her back. He said that she was great. Everybody over there loves her in the city. The words that he used at the time was, he called her a rock star. And they really think the world of her over there for what that was.
So this consideration is to nominate her or vote?
She's already nominated. If you want to cast a vote for either one of those 3, you may make a motion to do so. Anybody have any preferences?
Break the silence. I'll go with, who is Shay Ipe? What is it, Shay?
If you can't pronounce it, you can't.
I believe it's Shell, I pay.
Shay Ipe?
Yeah.
You have anything on her?
I don't know that she couldn't have been the city manager or administrator for Willis very long. They recently, I think last summer, had parted ways with their city administrator. So she's, been in, I don't know where she's, from or anything
Oh,
else. But I know just in terms of her capacity, she's not served, longer than a year, or, any more than a year at Willis.
So 4 out of 6 of those towns nominated Ms. Ryder, if that counts for anything. If not, we could take no action.
I'm taking no action.
Okay? So, no one's going to make a motion? And so, item number 5, we take no action on item number 5. Item 6, consideration possible action on a resolution approving the Montgomery County Emergency Communication District budget for fiscal year 2023.
You see in your packet the information in specific, the letter asked that the local cities and other jurisdictions in the county ratify through a resolution the adoption of the Emergency Management District's budget. By not taking action, it's, I guess, a vote for. At the end of the day, I reached out to them a couple weeks ago, and Mr. Ben Steenberg, who's their director, was going to be out of town this week and not able to attend this meeting. This is your last opportunity to, I guess, if you don't act on it tonight, you're going to automatically support it. So it's on the agenda tonight to, just in case you didn't want to support it, which I wouldn't recommend not supporting it. But
Has anybody seen a copy of it?
it's in your packet there.
Because I don't see
You
the
see kind of
numbers.
just after the resolution, you see
Oh, there
the
it is, okay.
operating.
I would
It's not as detailed as what, a city budget, like ours, gets down into. Certainly, one of the things that I would like to ask you, if you would like him to come to a future meeting, just to explain it, regardless of the action that you take. If you'd like to hear from them, again, they bought some property a couple of years ago, just past the KOA. It's where they do plan to locate their headquarters, so they're going to be right here, just outside of our city in the future when they build. So, again, if you'd like to hear from them, I'd be glad to ask them to, come to an upcoming meeting where they can explain more about their services, exactly what they do, exactly what their plans are.
Yes, sir, I'd like to have Chip attend the next available meeting that he could attend.
Absolutely.
And I'll make a motion to approve the resolution approving the Montgomery County Emergency Communication District budget for fiscal year 2023.
I second.
And second by Pat. A motion and a second. The motion is debatable, amendable, or requires majority vote. All in favor of passing item number 5 as spoken, say aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed, say no. And item number 5 passes. Item number 6, consideration possible action on the resolution approving the Montgomery County Emergency Communication. Did we just do that?
Yeah, we did that.
Never mind. Item number 7. Do I need to correct that last one then? We passed item number 6. The resolution approving the Montgomery County Emergency Communication District budget for fiscal year 2023 has passed as item 6. There you go. Item 7, consideration of possible action on a proposal from the city engineer for design and construction administration of a lift station number 8, force main repair.
Council, you see the information in the back of our city engineer, public works director here, talk to you a little bit more about it.
All right, good evening, everyone. So remember, back in early July, there was notice sent out that there was a break found in the force main coming from lift station 8 where it crossed Town Creek. So immediately after that was done, remediation was done, samples were done, cleanup was done, and cleanup of the force main and the spill, and then a temporary bypass pump was set up to pump it back to the hill. A couple days later, our H2O, your operator, rerouted it, so we took off those pumps, so we're just paying for a rental pipe to pipe it up the hill and utilize the pumps and the electricity and everything we have. But those are still, the cost of that piping is $11,000 a month. So it's not cheap, so obviously moving forward with a long-term repair makes sense. So what's in your package is a proposal to put together the plans and get bids and construct what you see on page 33. However, I would say, this is a preliminary layout, so we're still looking at options, because again, the goal here is what will get this done both for long-term, so we don't put it back and it, erosion continues, it causes another issue, and for the sense of time of, $11,000 a month, what is the repair route that's going to get that job done the quickest to help us bring those costs down. So what's shown on here is to relocate it and hang it off the bridge. So it's like we have on Lone Star Parkway, or excuse me, on Buffalo Springs, we have both a water line and a sewer line, just like this on the bridge there. Benefit of that is obviously whatever occurs, erosion elsewhere, it's hanging off the structure, is not going to get affected. But it's within the right-of-way of the county, so if Lone Star Parkway, gets expanded, some in the future would have to be relocated. Again, that's way down the line. The other option is to look at trying to drill a new line underneath the creek, kind of in the same location that we're at, and go much deeper. We're pricing out both options to see what makes the most sense and what will give us kind of that long term. So the authorization tonight isn't necessarily to go forward with this exact layout, but to proceed with putting together plans and getting pricing to get the best solution possible from a time and cost perspective.
So we're approving a proposal with the thought that later there would be a choice.
Correct. It's a time proposal, so it's just the hours to put together the plan sheet, get the bids out, and then put together the bids and the contract and stuff like that. If we can, and if we can get a contractor to get us where you get below that bidding threshold, which is $50,000, we'll go that route. We'll save time not having to publicly bid it. You just have to solicit 3 bids from reputable contractors. So it's, again, just doing what it takes to get the process rolling. I don't know, Mike, if you want to add anything to it?
I think that's pretty much done. We want to get the approval now so that we're not waiting another 2 weeks to start on this.
Not at
Let's get the
11.
ball rolling and finish it.
Not at $11,000 a month to rent the
Exactly.
price. Yeah.
And so we've already reached out to the county as well, just trying to, with their ongoing, looking at doing erosion control on that bridge and doing some repairs, seeing what, if you look at the scheduling here, we have a couple weeks to get surveyed. County's recently done surveys to see what information we can share to be able to cut those times down.
Any other questions?
So we really don't know which way we're going until we get,
We don't, so I would say by your next council meeting, we'll have that nailed down for the next 2 weeks. Okay, we're gonna go this route, or we're gonna do something different, we'll give you that update at your next council meeting.
We just want to make sure we pick the best solution that's the most cost effective.
Right, absolutely. So, just because you still haven't decided which way you want to go, if when they, on the option to go to hanging off the bridge, since that bridge is something that we are probably going to change, we need to make sure that the proposal is set up so that
There's not going to be a conflict between the two.
well, that we don't do a bunch of work and then we have to tear a bunch up when we fix the bridge, so, you know what I'm saying?
Correct. So we would route it enough outside of the banks of that, so it's closer to the road. So any repair work, slope work underneath would be out of the way.
Oh, okay, okay, very good. Okay.
but it's going to be in this ballpark figure here of the 107,000.
It'll be close. Again, if we're going to see, and also like when I talked earlier today about using some city labor to do some of this work. So we can do city labor and just have to sub out, the boring contractor if we go that route. Or just sub out the contractor who will go install the anchors in the concrete on the bridge to do, trying to, get it as quick as possible between city work and get out contract work to make it.
So hanging it off the bridge is just a temporary fix?
No, it would be permanent. So there'll be steel hangers, and there'll be brackets drilled in and epoxied into the side of the bridge, and then a steel pipe versus plastic pipe that'll run across. You wouldn't see it, it would be on the outside, tucked underneath. And so it would be a permanent solution. If you go by the Buffalo Springs Bridge, it's one on each side.
Okay, need a motion?
Make a motion to accept a proposal to move forward on creating proposals for a bid for the repair of lift station number 8 Force Main.
Very good. Need a second?
I'll second.
Second by Carol. This motion is debatable, amendable, and requires majority vote. All in favor of approving item number 7 as presented, say aye.
Aye.
All opposed, say no. And item number 7 passes as stated. Item number 8, call the budget public hearing for the fiscal year 22-23 city operating budget.
Mayor and Council, this, as you know, this is part of our budgeting process and part of the requirements that a city has to follow. And there are dates where you have to call this public hearing before you do other steps. And what we're asking you tonight is to call the public hearing September 13th at 6 p.m., which aligns with the budget calendar that you may have already seen. Certainly can answer any other questions that you have on it.
September 13th. It's the first meeting in September.
I'll make a motion to call the budget public hearing on September the 13th, 2022 at 6 o'clock.
I'll second.
A motion and a second. Motion is debatable, amendable, requires majority vote. All in favor of setting the public hearing for adoption of the city budget at September 13, 2022 at 6 p.m. say aye.
Aye.
All opposed say no. And the motion carries. Executive session. City Council reserves the right to discuss any of the items listed specifically under this heading or for any items listed above. An executive closed session is permitted by law, including if they meet the qualifications of section 551.07, consultation with an attorney, 551.072, deliberation regarding real property, 551.073, deliberation regarding gifts, 551.074, personnel matters, 551.076, deliberation regarding security devices, and 551.087, deliberation regarding economic development negotiations of Chapter 551 of the Government Code of the State of Texas. It is 6:37, and we are convened into executive.
I was gonna tell y'all something in there, and I need to tell y'all this. Once this is over, y'all don't go nowhere, I need to talk to you.
Okay.
It's not city business, it's okay.
Oh, about that first. All right. It is 7:32, and we are out of executive session, and it's time for council inquiry. Buddy?
Dave, did you know we don't have a grant writer for houses and those people getting houses?
We do not have obviously not an in-house grant writer. We do work with GrantWorks and been our grant administrator on several different grant projects. And another thing we're looking into specifically, related to houses, that we're looking at, whether there are opportunities for more grant funds for another grant writer.
Okay.
I don't know the status. I can sure find out and see where it is.
Okay, I was just wondering to see if we could get some funds to build some more homes.
Absolutely.
Any others? Okay, I have one. Lately, we've had evidence of many people Dave and I have dealt with this past week move in from out of state, not familiar with Texas humidity, if you will. So we had a lot of pushback, a lot of problems in my neighborhood especially, but with one particular builder. And we did meet this past week to clear some of those up, but one of the suggestions that was brought forth that I would like to see as an agenda item next meeting is to require, maybe an ordinance to require a manual J for our builders so that consumers are upfront advised of what BTU, how you calculate that. There's a lot of misinformation out there that maybe doesn't carry over to this state, for example. And so I think that would be helpful for us to avoid those misunderstandings in the future. And thanks to city staff and people getting on it, and I'll just say Stylecraft as well. They were very professional and own up to it, and they have a 94% success approval rating. And I think maybe what came out of that meeting is we promise service. We can't say you're always going to be satisfied. It's just impossible sometimes, and so I think that would be helpful. I would like for administrative staff to write this date down. November 1st through the 4th, there is a conference, and the subject of that conference is Texas Downtown Initiative. I've been complicated.
Excuse me, what was the date?
Texas, it's November the 1st through the 4th. It's quite a lengthy conference. It's held in San Marcos. And I would like for staff to first check on it. And I would love to be able to see, I myself can't go, but I've been reading up on it, and I have a meeting with a couple of people trying to get interest in something like that. It's not going to make any sense to me to revitalize McAllen, and 2 or 3 years from now, we all look at how beautiful it looks, and we still haven't attracted the right kind of businesses. I get out a lot. I listen to people's comments, and I hear them come up to me and say, there's a real estate place. There's an insurance place. Oh, there's 5 more real estate and 5 more. What do we do? And that's a good point. And so striving for that, I think maybe that's the answer. I don't know for sure, but I would like for us to know, because one of the things that I studied and looked at is when you look at a list of great places to shop, great places to visit in Texas, Goliad, Lockhart shows up a lot. These are places that went through this Texas Downtown Initiative. And sometimes if you don't have a lot of space like we do, sometimes you get creative and you build up. There's a lot of good ideas that come out of it that may be very suitable for our downtown. And so it's no easy fix, but it would be nice if we had a council member, an EDC member, a planning and zoning member. Maybe we can afford to give more. I would think this is a very worthy thing. So if council would consider that as well, and if staff would get back to us on that, and maybe even bring it up MEDC, I'll try to remember. Carol, you can remember as well, for us to send some representatives to get educated on that. I think it fits very well with the Texas Increment reinvestment zone as well. It's a long-range strategy to try to bring the right kinds of businesses to our little town, you know? And so that's what I had. All right?
Last thing I had some people questions about, do we have any update on the work on 105? It seems like it's stopping or something.
The one piece that I can update you on, that it looks like they are willing to give us a change order for, their initial plan was to put inside the curves that you see was just pour concrete inside those. We should be seeing, we've got at least an intimation now that TxDOT is willing to install pavers inside those. Unfortunately, I don't have a date to know when they're going to do it, but if you guys follow social media for our PD, they were nice enough to put TxDOT's number on our office for folks to reach out to. And again, it's if they would give us an answer, we'd be more than willing to share it. It's just if they don't give us an answer, we don't have anything to do.
My goodness. Okay.
We're still working for it, and as soon as we get an answer on it, I'll sure let y'all know.
Okay,
Any others?
that's it.
Entertain a motion to...
Motion to adjourn?
Second it.
Motion and a second. Anyone opposed, say no. And we are adjourned.